What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 62. Is that right, Jason? Okay.
Looks good to me.
All right, sweet. So Jason and I are here tonight to talk about outfielders and going into the 2023 season. Outfield is a very interesting category because it's very top heavy. But once you get to a certain point, there's a gigantic cliff. And if you did not, fill your outfield with those top heavy players, like you could be in some trouble. So Jason and I are going to break down a number of outfielders tonight. So Jason, first of all, let's say hi to you. You're from
Hi,
Colorado. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Spring training is in full swing. I watched the Mets beat the Marlins tonight, so they looked primed and ready for the 2023 season, and I'm primed and ready for the 2023 season. But right now, I'm ready to talk about outfielders. So let's kick it off.
All right, let's do it. So before we recorded tonight, Jason and I talked about our lists, and I have 75 ranked outfielders right now, which I guess you could say is 25 left, 25 center, 25 right, because in our league, in the Bigs, we have a left, center, and right field slots that we have to fill. So it's not just generic outfielders. So not that I picked 25 of each, but I wanted that nice number where it gave us a good selection, a nice pool to choose from. Jason only ranked 50, which is okay. So what we're going to do from 75 to 50 is I'm just going to talk about my lower tiers here. And if there are any names of note that Jason wants to talk on, or any names that match his list that I have way too low and he has in his top 50, we'll talk about. And then when we get to number 50, we'll just go back and forth and compare 50 to 1. Sound good?
Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, and just to be clear, we're talking about all outfielders in this show. Even though, like you said, the Bigs, we do have the left, center, and right slots. We've combined all of them into one show, just so we can hit them all at once and get through them all. So
Yep.
Let's hear your bottom tier.
All right, so my bottom tier is going to be the desperation dart throw tier, and it is numbers 75 to 70. So I'll go backwards. I'll start with 75. I've got Chas McCormick at 75, Andrew McCutchen 74, Christopher Morel 73, Trent Grisham 72, Marcell Ozuna 71, and Garrett Mitchell 70. Any names of note in there for you?
Yeah, Christopher Morel is an interesting one to me because he has the position eligibility. We talked about him on other shows, on other episodes, and the problem is that it doesn't seem like he's going to get any kind of significant playing time. It's out of the gate for Chicago with Bellinger, and they just signed Edwin Rios, so that there's really not a spot for him in the everyday lineup, so that could hurt his value. But the kid's only 23. If they give him the shot to play, I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it too. But yeah, like you said, it's not guaranteed, and there's something to I wouldn't mind starting him as a second baseman every once in a while, but starting him as in one of my 3 outfield slots just doesn't necessarily feel like a good use of that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's better options for sure.
Garrett Mitchell is the only other one I want to talk about because I feel like he's someone that I could see myself moving up because he's got the speed and he's like a nice, young, fun player. I could also see him potentially moving into that leadoff spot in Milwaukee. Not that there's a ton hitting behind him, but I still like the kid. I got my eye on him at number 70.
Yeah. I feel like this is a kid who can kind of come out of nowhere. I don't really know much about him. I've seen his name in draft circles and things like that, and I'm just like, who is this kid? And yeah, I mean, he's probably definitely gonna be the starting center fielder.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have any real competition for that job.
Yeah.
So now that McCutchen's gone, yeah, I can see this kid moving up absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Any other names from that desperation dart throw? Do you have any of those in your top 50 or no?
I do not.
Okay, cool. Um, my next tier is called bounce back veterans, and it's
Okay.
also there's a slash there, bench bats. So bounce back veterans slash bench bats. A
Okay.
lot of a little alliteration of B's in there. So I have number 69 is Eddie Rosario, 68 Ramon Laureano, 67 Michael Conforto, 66 Adam Duvall, 65 Will Myers, 64 Cody Bellinger, 63 Charlie Blackman, 62 Jesse Winker, and 61 Michael Brantley.
The
It's a
only
big,
one of the
big
I
list.
do have one of those ranked fairly high in
Is it
in
Bellinger?
my. It is not Bellinger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll get to him. I have him fairly high, probably higher than I should, but he is in my bounce back candidates tier,
Okay.
and I can see it happening. So we'll get to him. But Bellinger is an interesting one too because again like this is like a real like make it or break it season for him. I think right like he signed this 1 year deal with Chicago. Like if he goes out and has another even all-star season, not even MVP season, but just an all-star season, like at least keep yourself some um advantage going into free agency again. But I don't know. He's a hand grenade.
He is, and it's almost like yes, let someone else reap the benefits, like I can't anymore with him. I
Yeah.
can't like if you couldn't do it in Los Angeles, what you're going to a worse lineup on a worse team, like you're gonna have nothing to play for probably by like July. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, what if they traded him? What if they trade him mid-season? Like if they fall out of it, like I don't know who would pick it up, but
Yeah. No, and that's a great point, but it's like he was in the best possible location,
yeah.
right? In
Yeah.
LA and couldn't like capitalize. He did for a few years, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
someone else can have him.
Um, Michael Conforto is an interesting bounce back candidate, but the Giants just scare me. We'll talk about some other. I do have one Giant ranked in my top 50, but it scares me because they platoon guys so much, and
Yeah.
especially I know Conforto is he's not going to hit against lefties, so he's not an everyday guy. So I can see him being ranked in your towards your bottom.
Yeah, and like think about like Conforto, Peterson, Haniger, Yastrzemski, Wilmer, Austin Slater. That's five outfielders right there. And then you've got JD Davis, you got to get in. Wilmer Flores, you got to get in. Lamonte
Yeah.
Wade Jr., you got to get like I don't see anyone playing every day.
There's a lot of mouths to feed somehow in that. I mean, they
Yeah.
had the same amount of guys as every other team, but somehow it just seems like to be really crowded in that lineup.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anyone else of note in the bounce back veterans tier?
Um, let's keep going.
Keep going. All right. The only one I do want to mention
Yeah,
again is Brantley because I do have my eye on him in spring training and I could definitely see myself moving him up. Like if he's hitting second in that Astros lineup, I like that a lot. And he could be a really good value pick for where he's going in drafts right now.
yeah, yeah. He just has to stay healthy. I mean, 36
Yeah.
is scary. Actually, yeah, I do have him ranked as well, but he's not the one that I have too high. But I do have him ranked as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I do have him. I have him at 39.
Okay. Oh, wow. 39.
Yeah, yeah, because when he's on the field, like he had a 370 on base last year. Like so, like when he's playing, he's
Yeah.
good. He can still be a quality hitter.
Yeah.
It's just being on the field. So
Yes.
again, I'm gonna err on the side of he plays, and if he doesn't at 39, like that low down, like he's somebody who like I can drop.
Yeah.
I'm not tied to him at that far
Yeah.
down.
No, definitely not. Okay, my next tier is very small. It's called I'd rather not, but if I must. So number 60 is Gavin Lux, and not that I don't like him as a player, but just as an outfielder. Josh Naylor at 59, Harrison Bader at 58, and Jorge Soler at 57. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. Jorge Soler, like, I feel like he's like the epitome of everything that goes wrong with the Marlins. Like, they signed him and Avisail Garcia last year, thinking that, like, yeah, this is gonna make our offense like legit, and they both sucked.
Yep.
Yeah, I am all out on Soler.
Yeah. He couldn't I had trouble putting him where I put him, but that's why he's in the I'd rather not, but if I must category.
Yeah, and even Harrison Bader, huh?
Harrison Bader, he was great in the playoffs last year. He was great in the, in the talent, the stretch run for the Yankees, but like I don't know if it's sustainable for a full season or if he can stay healthy for a full, like I don't know. I want to see
Yeah,
more of it before I draft him with confidence as like, okay, you're my starting center fielder, and I feel great about that going into the season.
yeah, makes sense. I don't have him ranked in my 50 either, so
Okay.
I can agree to that.
Um,
And Gavin Lux is an interesting one. I wish I could have found room for him in my 50, but I just couldn't. But I did, because I did have him in the second base and shortstop shows.
yeah,
But I don't know. Yeah, for some reason in the outfield, I couldn't get him in.
yeah. And that's the thing. It's like some of these guys that are multi-positional position eligible, like you just prefer to play them somewhere rather than somewhere else. And like you
Yeah,
want your outfielders to be heavy hitters or heavy base stealers, and he's neither. So
yeah,
all right. Oh, the last one in that tier was Josh Naylor, but do you have him ranked?
yeah. I don't have him ranked.
Okay.
Again, because I feel like there might be a platoon there in Cleveland. I don't know if he's going to be playing every day. And he's also somebody like show it to me again for a full season, and let's see if this is real or not.
Right. He's like a Shane Spencer. Like the guy got hot for a bit and then got hurt and then disappeared. So
Yeah, yeah. Show it to me again before we nail her.
before we nail her, show her. All right. So this is my last tier before we get into the 50.
Okay,
So this tier is called Young and Fun Upside. Bottom tier third outfielder. That's what it's called.
that's a big name.
Yeah, Young and Fun Upside, bottom tier third outfielder. Because
Okay,
any of these guys in this tier, I don't like I wouldn't fall over and die if they were my third outfielder. I would take it, but like it's the bottom of the third for me.
yeah.
So 56 is Esturi Ruiz. 55 is Riley Green. 54 Lane Thomas. 53 Oscar Gonzalez. 52 the Fruit Bar Lars Nootbaar, and 51 Joey Meneses.
Wow, I do have two of those guys in my top 50. In fact, one of them I have at 50.
Interesting.
But Joey Meneses, I can't get behind that guy. I
I
can't.
know. I know.
We talked about it in first base. I can't get behind him. I prove me wrong, but I can't.
He went on such a tear last year. He got so hot at the end of the year. I want it to be real. I know he's not like as young as some of the other players on this list. He's 30, but
Yeah.
who's going to drive in runs on that team? I don't know.
I
Uh,
mean, Hammer Candelario, but I don't know. Not him.
is he on this
um,
on the Nationals? Oh yeah, he's okay.
yeah, he
All
is.
right. No thanks.
Riley Green is an interesting one. I know you were high on him going into last year, and he
Yeah.
kind of tanked. But I mean, the kid's only 22. Like,
Yeah.
there's still plenty of potential on that shitty Tigers team.
Yeah. I'm not sure why he's scheduled to hit third in this lineup, but if that's where he's at, it could help his RBI total. But like he's not a big time power threat based on what I saw last year. But hey, maybe some of that is he's still developing that power potentially. So
Yeah, again at 22. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, they have Austin Meadows and then Javi Baez. Like that's scary. That seems like a lot of strikeouts.
That is a ton of strikeouts in the top. Yeah. So
We'll
I don't
see.
know what the Tigers are planning to do. But and then who else did I mention there? Esteury Ruiz is interesting because that guy stole like 85 bases last year.
Yeah.
But
I read though that he I figured he would be the everyday center fielder, but like I read something that he may not be he may just be in a kind of a platoon situation there too. They still have Christian Pache, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on in Oakland, but yeah, if he comes out as being like the starting center fielder, I have to move him in. Yeah,
agreed.
that stolen base threat is real.
It's real. It's legit. And even as a platoon player, he could steal 30 bases.
Yeah.
And then Oscar Gonzalez to me is very intriguing. I just want to see a little more of it, but he's a fun young player with some pop.
Yeah. We'll talk about him later.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right. You ready to dig into our 50?
Let's do it.
All right, Jason. Who do you have at number 50?
So this is my tier called the leftovers. Because these are the guys who I'm like, kind of like what you just said, like, yeah, I would take them, but they don't really instill a whole lot of confidence in me. Okay. Starting at number 50 is the fruit bar, Lars Nootbaar. I don't. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now all I'm drinking, Jason. All right.
Look, the kid, he's only 25.
Yeah.
He's good to hit, kind of in the middle of that Cardinals lineup. I just don't know if it's real. I don't know how much playing time he's going to get.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did hit 14 home runs in 108 games last year. So like,
yeah,
there's something there. I just don't know what or how real it is.
Yeah. I know that Cardinals fans love him for whatever reason. Like they're like
because of his name. I mean, that is a cult following name right there. Lars Nootbaar. Like you can do so much with that.
Brian Lebo, can you please like call in and tell us how you feel about Lars Nootbaar?
We're waiting.
Yeah, we're waiting. Yeah, so I could see him at 50. I mean, I have him at, what did I say, 52? So look at us, like not far off at all.
I don't think it's they stay the same, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Who's your 50?
My 50 is another Oakland A that we just talked about, the Oakland, but this one is Seth Brown.
Yeah. Tell me why you like Seth Brown.
He's not young, but what I do like about him is that he's completely eligible across the whole outfield, I believe. He stole some bases last year. He hit for some power last year. He's hitting in the middle of a bad lineup, but like we said for Washington, like someone has to drive in runs in Oakland. And I think if anyone's going to do it, this is going to be a key contributor there. And he's got Ramon Laureano hitting in front of him, who's not nobody. Yeah. So, if he hits like 20 to 25 bombs and steals another 10 bases, like that's something.
Yeah, I can't. He's another one. He fits the mold of Joey Meneses to me. Like I just can't get behind him. I know. I think Joe is really high on this guy. Okay. But because he's 30. I mean, yeah, the last 2 seasons the power has been there, 25 home runs, but like his on-base percentage the last 2 seasons, 274 and 305, 214, 230 batting average. Like I don't think that plays. Yeah.
It's not good. And I mean, pitchers can pitch around him if they wanted to, but
yeah, you got Jesus Aguilar hitting behind him. Like, I think they'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right. Who is your 49?
49 for me is a former Oakland A, Mark Canha.
Okay. I have him at 42.
Okay, so we're not too far. He's a guy to me. He fits the mold of like a guy who's like really. I think he's better for the Mets he's better in real life than he is for fantasy. Because
Yeah,
like
I agree.
he'll take his walks, he'll get hit by a pitch, so he's got the high on base. He plays mostly every day, but like doesn't do any one thing. He doesn't have the power, doesn't have the speed, doesn't really do a whole lot. But he's consistent. You know what you're
Yeah.
gonna get from him.
Yeah. I read something about him recently where he said something like his power was kind of sapped last year because he was playing injured, right? And something about how he feels great coming into this year and like he's predicting like 20 to 25 home runs from himself or something like that.
Yeah, I just feel like
But
that's kind of what everybody says. Like,
yeah,
I feel great. It's spring, and then come April 17th, they're on their injured list with a sprain something or another.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, look, as a Met fan, obviously, I'm hoping that he's right. But I don't know that I buy it.
yeah. He's 34 years old too. He's getting up there.
Exactly. And look, there's kids coming up in the Mets, in the ranks that are trying to get in there. Like, Brett Beatty is like a guy who they could put out in left field. If Canada is not doing well and Beatty's tearing it up,
Yeah,
there could be a switch there. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. But it doesn't
We
seem
got
like we're definitely not far off on him.
yeah. Who's your 49?
My 49 is Whit Merrifield.
My old friend.
I know.
I do not have him ranked.
You don't have witness protection ranked.
No. No more Merrifield of Dreams.
Well, so the only reason I do have him ranked is that if he does get regular playing time, I could see him stealing 20 bases. I could see him, producing in some regard, and just to get like a small cheap piece of this Toronto lineup on a regular basis would be fun. And if there are any injuries, he's the one that I think is going to start moving up in the lineup. But I mean, if last year is any indication of how Toronto is going to play this guy, then I'm going to remove him from this list. So it's really just dependent on how they're going to use him this year.
Yeah. It worries me because they do have so many other pieces like a Kevin Biggio, Santiago Espinal. Like they have guys that can play in second base. And I mean, yeah, if one injury to George Springer and there's more playing time for you. But
yes,
I got burned by him so bad last year, and he's probably just outside my top 50. Like he'd probably be like 51 or 52, something like that.
Okay.
So like he's somebody that I would, if he's left over in the tail end of the draft, like yeah, I would take a shot at him. But
All right.
I've kind of been burned.
I don't blame you. All right, who is your 48?
48. I have a former Blue Jay, Lourdes Gurriel.
Oh, I have him 43.
Look at that. We are in pretty good lockstep here.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I don't know what he is. I feel like he never really had a chance to really play a whole lot in Toronto. 2021, he had 541 plate appearances, which is a pretty good sample size. I don't know what kind of play time he's going to get in Arizona, but we know we like this lineup, so he's only 29. Again, I don't know if he's gonna. He had 21 home runs in 2021. He hit 5 last year. Like,
yeah,
what's the real one? That's a big gap. That's a big variance. So
it is. And if you assume he's going to hit somewhere in between that, like at what 13, 14, 15 home runs, something like that, like, or on the lower end of that, that's not really warranting a top 50 outfielder selection.
Right.
He doesn't steal.
He doesn't steal bases. His on base is pretty good. He hits the ball hard. So like, there's some underlying metrics that could help his case. But again, I don't even know what kind of playing time he's going to get.
Yeah, who knows?
Who's 48 for you?
48 for me is a guy that I don't want on my team, and he's always overvalued by everyone. But I just felt like I had to put him on this list. So Andrew Benintendi.
I have him at 43.
Wow. So our 48 and 43s are switched?
Yeah. Yep.
Look at that. We did not plan this.
We did not share lists.
Nope.
This is the first. We are hearing our list for the first time.
Yep.
That's incredible.
Uh,
Tell me about Benintendi.
so he's hitting second in this lineup right now in Chicago. So I do like that because I liked Tim Anderson a lot this year. Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez are hitting behind him. Like, I think he'll have opportunities to score a good amount of runs.
Yeah.
He gets on base, but he's just another one of those guys that doesn't like do one thing particularly well. And like, he was this highly touted prospect that, oh yeah, he could be a 25, 25, 30, 30 guy. And he's never come anywhere close to that. So like,
Yeah.
if I have to, and I have no other choices for a third outfielder, sure, I'll take him, but I really don't want him.
He was a 2020 guy in 2017, his first full season in the big leagues. After that, like, yeah, I mean, he's been okay, but like, yeah, he has not lived up to that pedigree.
No.
Yeah, like you said, it's a good spot for him. If Luis Robert and Eloy are healthy and productive, this is a good spot for him.
Yes.
But doesn't steal bases, doesn't hit home runs. He's just a guy.
Yeah, just a guy. All right.
Yep.
Who's your 47?
47 is a guy also that I don't even. I'm only ranking him because when he plays, he was good. But this is the guy, Jock Peterson. Like,
oh my God, he's 45 for me.
This is great.
Yeah,
this is great.
Wild.
Okay. Yeah. Again, kind of the same thing with Conforto. Like, and all the gluttony of outfielders that San Francisco has and bats that they have. He had 433 plate appearances last year, which is down from the year before, and now there's even more mouths to feed. I just don't know how they're going to keep playing these guys. But he still hit 23 bombs last year, only struck out 100 times. So, like, when he plays, he's been playing good. He hits the ball really hard. He hit the ball 52.3% hard hit rate. Like, he hits the ball hard.
Yeah.
He just needs to play.
Yeah, he needs to play. But, I mean, it's just interesting. Like, they have a ton of lefty bats in the starting lineup and a ton of righty bats on the bench. And you know that it's going to be like whoever's pitching that day, like, these guys are just going to sit on the bench. So
I'll never forget. I think it wasn't last year. It was 2021. I watched the Mets Giants game, and like in the fifth inning, like, I don't know, the score was like 6-2 Giants or something like that. And in the fifth inning, like, Gabe Kapler just flipped his entire roster because the Mets brought in the other side arm, and he just flipped the entire lineup and brought in all the other guys. Like, that to me. So when I think about that, and I'm like, I don't want that on my team, on my fantasy roster.
No, especially if he's like a DH. He's like replaceable very easily by anyone.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, so he's my 45. My 47 is another. We're talking about a lot of players you and I both don't want on our team. This is another player I don't want on my team. This is Alex Verdugo.
He would be 51. He would be 51 for me. I really want to try and get him in here. But yeah, tell me about him.
As you know, I have a long history with Alex Verdugo. And
very wild history.
Very, very wild history. I, ruffled a lot of Big's feathers to trade for this guy. And he didn't really do anything. And that was my point at the end of the season. Like, hey, I didn't like do anything wrong. I didn't try to pull strings or anything, because look at the season that Verdugo put up. He didn't really do anything. And this is like another Benintendi to me. This is another guy who, like, he's probably solid for the Red Sox, and he's solid for a baseball player. I know he plays hard and gritty, but like, nothing stands out about this player as far as fantasy goes. Right. So
another guy that's good for the Red Sox, not so good for fantasy.
Yeah.
He's going to his age 27 season, so maybe he's in his prime, maybe he does something. He's locked up for another couple of years still, so he's not going anywhere. Nothing really excites me about him, but he's a solid player.
Yeah. So I'll take him as my third outfielder if there's nothing left.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, who is your 46?
46. This starts my tier of solid potential.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. We start with Ahmed Rosario.
Okay, I have him a little higher. So
Yeah.
tell me about Rosario.
Yeah, I probably could have gotten him a little higher, but just the overlying numbers or the underlying numbers don't excite me about
Okay.
him. The steals, yeah, he had 18 steals last year, 13 the year before. But he doesn't hit the ball especially hard. Doesn't really hit for power. The average is good. The on base is not so good. He should, but like I can see him taking another step forward. He's been getting better every year, and I
Mhm.
could see him taking a step forward this year, and maybe really becoming a quality hitter,
Yeah.
and seeing him move up this list. But right now, there's some guys above him that I just feel a little more comfortable with.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear that. For me, I like the position eligibility, like the
Yeah.
shortstop and the outfield is a really nice pairing. Um,
Yes.
to me, also, he's hitting in front of like one of the best players on the planet right now. So, like, I think he's going to score a lot of runs this year. Um, and I mean, Stephen Kwan is hitting in front of him. So, like, a guy that gets on base a lot and doesn't strike out that much hitting in front of him. So, like, I think he's in a really good position. That's the only reason why I have him a little higher.
Yeah, and I don't really feel like there's anybody that's really pushing him for playing time. Like, so he's
Yeah.
he's good. He's gonna play as long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's on a platoon. He's gonna play. So yeah, there's absolutely ample opportunity for him to do well. I just want to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
You got a 46.
my 46 is a guy we have not spoke of yet. And I'm not sure I'm really like on the buy-in train on this guy, but he is scheduled to hit leadoff on a pretty good lineup. So I'm gonna take Taylor Ward here at 46.
I have him a little higher.
Okay.
I have him at 33.
Wow, you have a lot higher. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He's in a group. I'm probably a little too high on him, but tell me about Taylor Ward.
Yeah, no, I mean he's going into age 29 season, I believe. So
Yeah.
he's been around for a little bit, just hasn't like found himself, I guess. But last year he had to step up when the entire Angels disappeared on a vacation. And he stepped up in a big way for them when it was only Ohtani on the field for a good amount of time. And now if he is hitting leadoff, like he's hitting in front of Trout and Ohtani and Rendon and Renfroe. Like that's
Yeah.
a pretty nice spot.
That's why I have him as high as I do, because I
Yeah.
do. I know Joe doesn't really buy the Angels offense, but I do.
Mhm.
If I have to, if we are predicting, we have to expect that everybody's gonna be healthy until they're
Yeah.
not. I think
Yeah. Yeah.
so. Coming into the season, if you're hitting behind those guys, like you're gonna score some runs as long as you're
Yes.
getting on base. And he did show like he hit a 360 on base last year, so he can get on base.
He can, and that makes him a great leadoff hitter, right? And that also, like, I think in previous years we were always like, oh, David Fletcher. David Fletcher is the leadoff hitter on this team, but like I don't think he's a person anymore.
No,
So
he is beyond gone. Like,
yeah, so I
yeah,
think that this leadoff spot is Taylor Ward's to lose and hold on to the whole year. And if that's the case, like you can maybe expect 85 to 90 runs plus,
yeah,
right?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so. I think this lineup is real.
Yeah. All right. So that is my 46. We covered your 46.
Yes.
Um, who's your 45?
45. I have Andrew Vaughn down here, and where
Okay.
you got him?
I have Andrew Vaughn. I know I have him. Oh, I have him at 40.
Okay, so also not too far off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, he's only 25. He's still so young. So like, and now with no Abreu, he's gonna get the playing time.
Yeah.
And he does hit the ball hard. He had a good year last year. I don't know if I believe in him.
Yeah.
like to me he's like a dart throw, but there is potential here because he's gonna have the playing time. He's got some pop in the bat. I just want to see what he can do as a full timer.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see what he'll do as a full timer. I agree with you 100%. I also would love to see him hit fifth in this lineup. I want to see, I'm worried about the bottom of this White Sox order, not producing as much.
Yeah.
And if he kind of like finds himself hitting sixth or seventh or even eighth, like I think that'll hurt his opportunities. But if he can hit fifth, I'll feel pretty good about it.
It is a pretty ragged bottom half of that order, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
it's Moncada, Vaughn, Grandal, Gavin Sheets, and Elvis Andrus. Like, yeah, that's a little rough.
Yeah. It's a little washed. It is.
Yeah.
But
All
yeah.
right, we got a 45.
All right, 45 was Jock Peterson, so we talked about him already. So who is your 44?
On the other side of Chicago, I have Ian Happ.
Okay, I have him at 34.
Okay. Yeah, I'm usually pretty high on him, and I do like him. Yeah. But the more I look at the numbers, like they're good, but like the strikeouts are not good. Yeah, but he still gets on base. I probably could move him up, but like I don't know. I don't know what this Cubs team is,
Right.
and I've been waiting for him to kind of take that step to become like a true solid hitter, and I don't feel like he's done it yet. Maybe this is the year. I think he's in his walk year. So maybe this is the year, but I don't know. I just don't know what to make of him. So I'm like, again, I wouldn't hate having him on my team, but like I wouldn't be upset if I miss out on him.
Yeah, and I don't think it's the type of player that you can expect to carry you, and so with that being said, I'm not sure how much confidence I would draft him either as well, but like I do like his situation a little bit better this year. I like Dansby, Nico Horner. Like if Nico Horner and Dansby are the two guys hitting in front of him, I think that he'll have ample opportunities to drive in runs this year. He's got a little protection behind him with Suzuki and Trey Mancini and potentially Bellinger, but just want to see it. I feel like he's sort of been an island, him and Wilson Contreras, for like some time, and now he has maybe a few more pieces, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he's like the last remaining Cub, right? Like like when you think of the Cubs, like Chris Bryant and Contreras and Rizzo, like he's like the last remaining guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's another guy who I feel like if they fall out of it,
He could be traded.
I don't. Yeah, because I don't think he's locked up. So yeah, he'll be a free agent at the end of the year. So, I could see them trading him if they fall out of it.
Yeah, me too. And then you get Christopher Morel more at bats. You get Edwin Rios more at bats. So like,
yeah,
I don't. Yeah.
Zach McKinstry.
Yeah, Zach McKinstry. McKinstry. Yeah. Anyway, my 44 is Arando, but I'm just curious to see what he'll do. So Masataka Yoshida on the Red Sox.
Oh, good call. I don't have him ranked. Tell me about him.
I'm just really intrigued. I'm really intrigued. Like he had good numbers in Japan. I don't know that much about him. He's 29 years old, so he's in a good age, and as of right now, like he's penciled in as the Red Sox leadoff hitter. And I know that we've all kind of trash talked the Red Sox, but hitting leadoff is still a meaningful thing in any lineup. And so he's going to get his at bats. He's going to get opportunities to get on base, and his batting average in Japan is great. His on base percentage is great. I don't know how it'll translate, but I'm just intrigued.
Yeah, I probably should have found a way to get him in here. He might have been an oversight, but yeah, I'm kind of taking a wait and see. I mean, we'll talk about. I have higher on this list. I have Seiya Suzuki, and I just wonder if he's gonna have kind of that same kind of year where it was like
The
good, but
adjustment. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I like that's a good call. I like that pick.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That was my 44. My 43 was Guriel, Lourdes Guriel. Your
And my 43 was
43 was
Benintendi.
Benintendi. So my 42 was Mark Canna, who you already spoke about. Who's your 42?
My 42 is something we haven't talked about. I have Hunter Renfro here.
He's my 41. Oh,
Amazing,
we're so
amazing.
close.
Yeah,
We're so close.
this draft is gonna be crazy.
I know.
I bet we better not draft next to each other.
No, yeah,
Um,
or else we're gonna hate each other after the draft.
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, again, I feel like people are kind of down on Renfro. The strikeouts are a little much and doesn't
Yeah,
walk a lot, but the power is there. And again,
it's
he's
legit.
hitting in the middle of this Angels lineup that I think, again, assuming health, is going to be real. So
Yeah.
he's only 31. Um, I don't love him, but like he's a guy if you're looking for, towards the mid to late rounds that you need some power, you could do a lot worse than Hunter Renfro.
Yeah. I think this is Joe's definition of cheap power right here. Like you can get him at a discount and he can hit you 30 home runs. Like it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah. And honestly, if Rendon gets hurt, I think this is the Angels cleanup hitter. And I think he's hitting behind Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely, I don't think there's a question. In fact, I could even see even if Rendon stays healthy, like I could
that's
see them
true.
making that switch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They can make that switch too. All right, awesome. Good call with Renfro. You have him at 42. I have him at 41. So who is your 41?
my 41 is this is the top of this solid potential tier for me. It's Anthony Santander.
Ah, all right. I have him much higher, but go ahead. Tell us about Santander.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know why I have him this low. His OPS plus over the like 2021 was not good. He had a 94 OPS plus. It was better last year. He still hits the ball really hard.
Mhm.
With an average exit velo of 90 miles an hour. So like, uh, the numbers are there. I don't know. I do like the Orioles,
Yup.
and he hits right in the middle of that order. I just don't know what it is about him that just to makes me feel a little uncomfortable. I don't know. I don't know if I can really articulate it, but
Okay, that's fair.
again, he's like I'm not. Again, he's like I would take him, but like I just feel more comfortable with some of the guys above him.
Okay. No, it's definitely fair. Here's my argument on Santander
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Um, Number one, we were talking about how we like the Orioles lineup. Um, this lineup is going to score runs. That's number one. Number two, there were pieces not really that weren't necessarily like a big part of this Orioles lineup last year. Like Rutschman came kind of halfway through. Gunnar Henderson wasn't really a big part of it yet. Now those pieces are there. You've got Mountcastle probably hitting behind Santander. He's a switch hitter. He's 28 years old. He hit 30 home runs last year. There's nothing to say he can't do it again. Like, I think the stars are aligned for this player to do
yeah.
some big things.
All
So,
right. You know what? I'm moving him up.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Let's see. He's gonna move up to. I take him out here. He's gonna go right here.
I'm so curious. The
He'll
edge of
become he'll become 32.
all right. I have him at 28.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That works for me. Let's
I like that.
yeah. So yeah, okay. So he now becomes my 32.
Okay. Nice. And
Yeah,
remind
I
me
like it.
when we get to my number 30, I have like a measuring stick at number 30. And the question is, well, just remind me when we get to 30.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Because I have Santander at 28. But all right, so that is, where are we now? 40.
So he was my 41. So who's your 41?
My 41 was Renfro.
Okay.
My 40 is,
My 41, my 41 now, I'll
oh
talk
yeah,
about. He's the start of this, the three guys that are, I'm calling more injury risks because I have another tier of injury risks higher up.
okay.
Uh, this is Mitch Haniger, your old friend.
Yeah, I have him at 39.
Okay. Yeah.
So damn close.
Yeah. Because I feel like we talked about the Giants, and like I feel like if anybody has going to get full playing time, it's going to be him,
Yeah,
as
I think,
long as he's healthy, which is always an unknown. He played in 57 games last year, but he played in
oh,
157 games the year before. So,
don't remind me about
um,
last year. I know.
yeah, right. Tell me about last year.
I don't want to. Yeah, no, he had an amazing 2021. I drafted him high on a up and coming Mariners team, and like you said, he played in 57 games. I think he broke his testicles, or his penis. I don't know what he did. Something broke down there, or ripped or something. And then he healed and came back and got hurt like 5 days later. I think he had a cough and they didn't know what was wrong with him, and they sat him
Yeah,
6 weeks, something
that
like
sounds
that.
about right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, and when he did play, like he wasn't great. Like in the 57 games, he struck out 65 times, walked 20. Like it just wasn't a good season at all for him.
Yeah.
But maybe new scenery. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this move to San Francisco. But again, I think if anybody's going to get full playing time in that outfield, it's going to be him as long as he's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Andrew Vaughn is my 40, and we talked about
Okay,
that. So who's your 40?
we talked about my 40. My 40 is Michael Brantley.
Okay. Your 40 is
Yeah.
Michael Brantley. 39 is Haniger. So who's your 39?
39 is the top of this more injury risks tier. I'm going Christian Yelich.
Okay, I have him at 31, so I have him a little higher. So
Okay.
what do you not trust about Christian Yelich?
Um, I, he did play 154 games last year, so he finally had a full season.
Uh-huh.
It still wasn't great. It was okay. The 19 stolen bases is nice, which I wasn't expecting to see that from him.
Yeah.
I just want to see. I'm just tenuous about him because it was a back injury, like one bad swing and he's out again. Like, but and also I don't like the Brewers lineup.
Yeah.
But if he's anything remotely to what he was a few years ago, like yeah, he could still be good. So like, I'm not writing him off. I don't love him.
I just like what happened to this guy is my question. Like, is it the back injury? Is that what happened to him? Or did he just like regress all the way back to the norm? Like I don't
So
know what the
yeah,
answer is.
I don't know. I mean, 2018 was his MVP year. He played in 147 games. He played in 130 the next year. He played in 58 out of 60 in 2020, but they only played in 117 in 2021. So like, I don't know. But
But his injury is what you're saying, probably.
that's what I think it is. It's interesting because he's kind of. I feel like he's been on the same kind of trajectory as Bellinger, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because he plays in Milwaukee. It just doesn't seem like it's as publicized as Bellinger's. I mean, maybe it's not as quite as drastic either, but I feel like
Right.
they're the same.
Yeah.
Where
I
they
mean,
both
Yelich,
MVPs and then they just became like dog shit.
right. But like I do want to give him credit. Like Yelich still does hit for average. He's like better than Bellinger. He still gets on
Yes,
a
yes,
better clip. Like Bellinger fell off to a point where he was like hitting under 200 at one point. Like,
yeah. He was like minor league level.
yeah, you couldn't play him in a major league lineup, and Yelich has never gotten to that point. And I still see him hitting leadoff, and he doesn't have bad hitters hitting behind him. I like the addition of William Contreras in this lineup, and I
Yeah,
also like Jesse Winker. Obviously, is not in my top 50, but I think that he's an underrated like potential bounce back candidate here. So I don't I don't hate this lineup as much as everyone else. Um, with Willie Adames and Rowdy Tellez in there as well as like solid pieces. So I don't know. That's the only reason why I'm a little bit higher on Yelich, just because he's lead off. He's still Christian Yelich or some form of
And
him.
he's still only 31. It's not like, it's not like we're
Right.
talking about a guy in his mid-30s here. Like, he's
Oh,
still on the good side of 30, so.
yeah. Um,
All right, so he was my 39. Your 39 was
Haniger.
Henniger.
So
Who's 38 for you?
my 38 is another San Francisco Giant, but multiple position eligible Tyro Estrada.
We talked about him. I don't have him in the top 50.
Okay. All right. I mean, I loved what he did last year. I think he's coming into his own. He's in age 27 season. Um, I think that he will have as close to regular playing time as the second baseman here in San Francisco. And I think he
Yeah.
earned it. I think he earned it last year. Like
Yeah.
he was playing regularly last year. And if he is the leadoff hitter and he's hitting in front of guys that rotate like Haniger and Peterson and Conforto, like that's kind of nice. And I could see him being double digit home run stolen base guy again. So
Yeah, he's just a guy that like I just need to see it again because like I feel like he came out of nowhere last year to have a decent season. Show it to me again, and then yeah, I think I had him in second base and shortstop, but again in this outfield group, I couldn't get him in.
okay, cool. So who is your 38 then?
My 38 starts the prove it tier, and it's MJ Melendez.
Oh, all right. He is not in my top 75.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't a great. We talked about him in the catcher show, but that just tells you he has catcher eligibility. He's hitting leadoff in this lineup. He's hitting, on top of Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, your boy Vinny Pasquantino. So like, I don't hate the lineup.
Yeah.
He's only 24. Like, and he's gonna play every day because he can play in the outfield. He can catch. He can DH. I'd like to see what this kid can do. I may be a little bit bold on him, but I like him. I want to see what he can do in another full season.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good argument. And I would definitely consider adding him into at least the top 75. I think that for me personally, like the eligibility here doesn't do him much good as an outfielder. It does him great as a catcher. So like that's why for me I had him pretty high up as a catcher. But I think you make good arguments there, and I could totally see him putting him. I'm actually shocked I don't have him anywhere on this list, but I could see adding him into the like young and fun upside tier that I went through, like somewhere in the low 50s.
Yeah, he's the beginning of this prove it tier, which it basically is to me a tier, except for one guy, a tier of guys who've only played one season. I want to see them do it more, but I like the potential.
Yeah. All right. I just added him at 54. So
yes.
You convinced me.
Feather in my cap.
Yep. All right. So that was your 38, you said?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Who is your 37?
My 37, I mentioned his name. It is Seiya Suzuki.
He's my 36.
Oh, come on. We're going to get one. We're going to get one where we're going to be right at the same. I know
we
it.
are going to get one.
Yeah. I had him for last year. It wasn't a great rookie season, but it wasn't a bad rookie season. I think now, adjusting to American ball, hopefully he gets a full season now. He had some injuries last year. All that's behind him. Maybe he can take a step forward. Again, I don't love him, and I don't love this Cubs team. I don't know what this Cubs team is, but I think there's potential there for him to progress and take a step forward.
Okay. Yeah, I echo everything you just said. I have no explanation for why I have him one spot ahead of you. He had a really, really hot start last year, and everyone was like, holy crap, like this guy is for real. And then he just tailed off and turned into like not much of anything. So
Yeah, and that's when I had him on my team.
yeah,
So
you
yeah,
traded, didn't you? You
I
traded
did
for
trade him. I traded for him. Yeah,
from my
and that
brother because I remember my brother was trying to sell high on him, and I guess it worked.
yeah, I think that was the first Camilo Doval trade. I think he was part of that trade.
Yeah,
So that yeah. By the way, like 2023 trades, I don't know. I don't know
you're
if that's
out.
happening.
You're out on
Yeah,
trades.
yeah. We'll see.
That's what you say now, Jason. That's what you say now.
Yeah, talk to me in 3 months. I know.
3 months. Talk about like 4 weeks.
The day
The
after
draft,
the day after the draft.
day after the draft, I'm offering you a trade, and we're gonna talk about it.
Who's your 37?
37 for me is Ahmed Rosario, who we spoke about. 36 is Seiya Suzuki. So who's your 36?
My 36 is Stephen Kwan.
Ah, oh wow. Okay, I have him much higher.
I figured you would. He's a guy to me, like, yes, the on base and the lack of strikeouts is great. Double digit steals, but like again, I didn't feel like he provided much for fantasy purposes. But
Okay.
I like, and again, like one season, it was a great season. We've seen sophomore slumps before.
Yeah.
I want to see that this is a real dude. So that's why he's in the middle of this kind of prove it tier for me. Um, he is hitting on he is hitting on top of the Guardians lineup,
Yep.
which is great, a great spot. He's 25. There's a lot of things going for him. I could definitely see him moving up this list. Just right now, just prove it to me.
Okay. Um, so you did say that he's not really stand out in anything, which I think is true in regards to like his power. He's not really going to contribute much. Um, that being said, the fact that he walked more than he struck out is tremendous. Like a 373 on base percentage is no joke over 563 at bats. The 19 steals that he had last year, like if we're gonna say in general, people's steal totals can increase incrementally this year, like I could see that going to maybe 25. And if he's at 25 steals and potentially like the steals get him more runs, you could see him at 100 runs. So like
Yeah.
for me, I'm really high on this guy. I think he's already proven it to me, but it's fascinating that there's still for you need to see it again. For me, I don't know why, but he convinced me now.
Yeah, no, I get it. And look, I could be missing out on the next star, but I'm taking a more cautious approach, I think.
Yeah. And yeah, trust me, like last year, I was waiting for him to fit. Like I was waiting for him to fall off the planet. And I think
Yeah,
everyone was. But he
yeah,
just like stayed consistent all year.
and I
So
think that I think that kind of speaks to the Guardians as a whole. Everybody who
yeah.
was waiting for them to fall off, right? And
Yes.
they never did.
Yeah. All right. So that was your
That was
30,
my 36.
36. All right. So who's your 35?
His teammate, who you mentioned, and I think I only have him ranked just above him because of the power potential, is Oscar Gonzalez. Um,
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like this kid has some raw power. Uh, 11 home runs in just 91 games last year. Like, I don't know. I think when I think of an outfielder, for the most part, I'm thinking of a guy who's gonna hit bombs. There's a couple of exceptions, of course. But I feel like this kid like he's 25. I feel like he could end up in the middle of the lineup, hitting behind Jose Ramirez. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to see what this kid can do.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
that's
it's
what I
just
have on him.
it's so funny though that like what it's all about our own intuitions, right? Like because here you're saying you trust Gonzalez more than Quan, and I'm saying I trust Quan more than Gonzalez, but like what are we really basing that off of? Like
Right,
our own
from
intuition.
one season. Um, yeah, I mean literally like their OPS pluses like Gonzalez was 125, Quan was 124. Like they are like they do things so differently. But like,
They do.
I mean, Gonzalez had a 296 batting average at 327 on base. Like, he
Yeah,
had a good
that's real.
season,
That's real. Yeah.
and it was only half a season. So like, again, imagine what he can do in a full season hitting in that
Yeah.
lineup. Yeah.
True. True.
So he was 35 for me. Who's 35 for you?
So 35 for me. All right, don't hate me.
Oh God.
Don't hate me. I know he was the batting champ last year. I'm still high on him. Jeff McNeil. Still high on him.
I have him at 30.
Okay, all right. I thought we're gonna put him in the 20s, or like
No, I tempered. He's
okay.
30 for me.
Okay. So I don't have to necessarily talk you off the ledge with this guy. But is he gonna be the batting champ again? I don't know. Probably not. So if there is regression in the batting average, like he didn't do anything else there wasn't anything else too exciting about this guy other than the fact that he was hitting at a really, really great solid batting average. So if that regresses, I'm not sure there's much that he would offer me where I could argue taking him higher.
Yeah.
That's it.
The one thing I'll say, I don't know where he's gonna bat in the lineup. I really don't. And roster resources has him hitting fifth. Buck Showalter, for whatever reason, loves having Starlin Marte at the top of the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
McNeil to me is the prototypical number 2 hitter.
Yeah.
You put Nimmo and then McNeil back to back. The on base is just incredible. But you're right. But I do think that I don't know if McNeil can repeat as batting champ, but I do think he will maintain the high batting average.
Okay.
Because even just tonight, I was watching the game tonight, and because he beat the shift last year. He was hitting balls through that shortstop hole, but still today they were still giving him that hole, and he was still taking it. So and it was the Marlins who they played against 19 times last year. I don't know. I still think he can maintain a good 300 batting average.
Yeah.
But there's not much else in the power or speed department from him. So he does have good eligibility. He's got second and left and right, so that's a useful thing. So yeah, but I'm not much higher than on him than you are.
Yeah, and listen, if he's my third outfielder, I'm thrilled. If I could stick him in left field, right, and I can have a nice solid left field bench bat, and I can rotate him into second base, I think I'd be really happy with that. So
yeah, that's the recipe.
Yeah. All right. So McNeil for me at 35. Who's your 35?
35 was Oscar Gonzalez.
Okay. So who's your 34?
And my 34 was Taylor Ward. We talked about him. Who's your 34?
Mine was Ian Happ. We talked about him.
Okay. Who's 33 for you?
All right. Here we go. Number 33, Giancarlo Stanton.
Wow. I actually had him higher.
Okay. Look at us.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What did I have? I had him way higher.
Really?
Yeah, probably too high. But because I kind of grouped him with a bunch of guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably have him too high, but I'm okay with it.
All right. The thing that scares me about him is he does not get on base. If he's not hitting a home run, he's not on base. Sure, he didn't play a full year and he still hit 31 home runs. So that's awesome. But I don't want a 211 batting average for an entire season. I don't want a 297 on base.
In 2021, it was 273, 354. So
it was, but all those numbers just fell off the face of the earth. He struck out 137 times last year and didn't even have 400 at bats.
Right. No, his strikeouts are just awful.
It's abysmal. And he had 7 doubles. He's like I said, if he's not hitting home runs, he's not really doing anything except striking out. And that's the thing that scares me about Stan. He's still ranked 33 for me. I'll take that power.
Yeah.
But
he still scalds the ball, and this is
Yes.
where like Joe knows this, but like I'd love to know like how I know it's the right-handed hitter, but I wonder how often he was shifted against. Because if he's not being shifted against and he's hitting the ball 95 miles an hour through a hole, like maybe he gets on base more.
Yeah. And that's a great argument. My only counter argument to that is who is this guy's protection this year?
You tell me, Yankee fan.
Yeah, so I will tell you, Josh Donaldson right now is scheduled to hit behind him. You know how I feel about Josh Donaldson. You know how I feel about the entire bottom of the Yankees order. You've got Donaldson, Bader, Hicks, Oswald Peraza, who I actually do like, and Jose Trevino, though. Like, those are the guys that are backing up Stanton right now. So you
Yeah,
can
that is.
pitch around him and have him swing at these ridiculous sliders that are nowhere near the strike zone all you want.
Yeah, no, you're right. I definitely have him ranked too high, but like,
Where do you
and I
have him?
probably wouldn't even. Huh?
Where do you have him right now?
I have him at 21.
Okay.
But I probably still wouldn't even draft him. But just the number, just from the number standpoint, like the power and the hard hit is just
Yeah.
really gets my eye.
Yeah. Oh, he hits the ball harder than anyone. So
Yeah, and I mean even still at 33, like he's
yeah.
still doing it. So
Yeah.
there's potential there.
Yeah. All right. So who is your 33?
My 33 is the top of my prove it tier, and it's Jake McCarthy from the Diamondbacks.
Nice. I have him at 24, so I have him higher than you, but
Okay, yeah. Again, he played in 99 games last year.
yeah.
It was really good. I mean, 23 stolen bases, which is also how many times he walked. So like, I just I want to see what he can do. But he's gonna hit in the middle of that Diamondback lineup that we are all salivating about.
Yeah.
So there's definitely potential there. I just want to see it over a full season.
Yeah. I agree with you. All right, so that's your 30. I'll probably talk more on him later because I have him at 24.
Yeah.
All right, so who's your 32?
32 became Santander.
Okay, so my 32 is a guy you should be pretty familiar with. I have him for a big bounce back this year, or a potential bounce back this year. Chris Bryant.
Yeah, I have him higher.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because I also am. I think everybody is pegging a bounce back for him. You have to expect it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're just waiting for that, like him to cash in on that Coors opportunity. And like, I feel like we were all just like itching for it last year, and then he hurt his penis and he was out the whole year. So I just want to see him in Coors for 81 games and like see what he does with it.
I just be on the field for 81 games in general. He only played 42 games last year, but they were 42 really good games. So
Were they?
yeah, he hit 306 with 376 on base, 5 home
Okay.
runs, 14 RBIs, like 12 doubles. Like yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
He just
All right.
he just wasn't there.
Yeah, just stay on the field, Chris. Where do you have him?
I am at 24.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna find ourselves again in the middle. We have to find each other somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
So he was 32 for you. Who's 31 for you?
Yelich.
Okay, 31. I have Adalis Garcia.
Oh shit.
You probably have him.
I have him way higher.
I know you do. The strikeouts and like I guess he's like I know the speed is there, which is nice, but I just can't get past the strikeouts. I don't know why. I guess it's the same thing as Stanton with speed. I don't know if I trust it. I don't know why. I just don't trust him. I never did.
I'm there with you. I don't fully trust him, which is why he's not like, all the way up. But you can't ignore what like the power speed combo that he's got here. It's like it's pretty scary. And he's done it 2 straight years now.
Yeah. No, I know he has, and I probably could move him up. He's so Santander and him. They start this group that I call the good guys. Like they're good. They're good. Like I would take it. Like I would take these guys. McNeil's also in there. Like I couldn't find another name for them. And I
Okay.
don't know why they're grouped together. So they're just the good guys.
Okay. The good guys. I like it a lot. Great name. All right. That was your 31, right?
That was my 31.
Okay. Who is your 30?
30 is McNeil.
Okay. So I told you to remind me when we got to 30 because
We're at 30.
we're at 30. Thank you. So this for me is like, this has been a benchmark of like, do I rank a player higher or lower than number 30?
Okay.
And that was like a really big indicator for me for this list. So my number 30 is Bryce Harper.
Wow. Okay.
And
I have him a little higher.
okay, we all know the reason why he's at 30, but but it's an indicator for me because I asked the question to myself, would I rather have a full season of this player or a half season of Bryce Harper? And that helped me like just order this
Like that.
list around. And the answer wasn't always easy, but I do think it was a really good indicator for like, okay, this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get July through September, hopefully, of Bryce Harper.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what if he's gonna even be his full self when he comes back.
It's a risk. It's a risk. I mean, the
High
reward, the payoff for it is ridiculous because it is Bryce Harper, right? But what are you getting? What are you getting out of him in 2.5 months or so? Is it worth it? Is he worth an IL stash? Somebody's going to do it.
Someone's
Obviously,
gonna do it. Yeah.
yeah. I just don't know. I have him at 20.
Okay.
And like but like I'm just like I don't know. I don't know if I don't like him. I don't like the Phillies, so I don't like him. But obviously he's a star. So
Yeah. And so I guess like for your like frame of reference here, like everyone above for 29 through number 1 for me is like the answer is yes. Like I'd rather have this player for a full season than Harper for half.
okay,
So I don't know
I
if
like that.
yeah. So who's we talked about your 30, right?
30 is McNeil.
Okay. So now we're into our like top 30 here. This is where we're gonna see some big names. Who's your 29?
I have Dalton Varsho.
Oh, I have him at 26. Okay.
Okay, we're back to being close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about him in the catcher show. And he's gonna. He has catcher, right field, and center field right now. I read he's probably going to be the starting left fielder. So
Yeah.
he could get all 3 outfield eligibility plus catcher. That's huge.
Yeah.
The 27 home runs last year is great. 16 stolen bases is great. I just, I'm curious to see how this is going to translate to a new division, a new league, a new team. But it's a good team. So yeah, there's certain potential here. I would draft him absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean I have him a little bit higher than you. I don't think he's going to catch very much, which is probably good for him. And it means
I don't think he may not even catch at all.
he may
Honestly,
not
unless
catch at
like
all.
barring an injury. Yeah.
Yeah. The one thing that I mean, a few things do concern me about him. Like his strikeout rate was bad.
It was.
So there's that, and then he does not hit for a high average. And I want to see him like turn some more solid contact and maybe hit some more doubles, like some more extra base hits, hit the ball to the gap, like stuff like that. Because I feel like he is one of those players that tries to hit a home run a lot, and it like takes away from potential contact and batting.
Yeah.
Average.
He also might benefit from the lack of the shift. He's a lefty, so
Yeah.
Maybe some of those down the line hits, get through and become doubles or something like that for him. So yeah, there's potential there for sure.
Yeah, and hey, the power speed is real. So
yeah, and that lineup is real.
The lineup is real. Yep. All right, my 29 is just like my 30, high risk, high reward. Very high both ends, but I'm gonna go Byron Buxton here at 29.
Yeah, see, I have all these guys. All these guys are a little higher for me in
Okay.
my first injury risks tier.
Okay.
But yeah, tell me about Buxton.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the talent is there. It's just we keep saying like these freak injuries, but at a certain point, they're no longer freak, they're expected. And at what point do we say like this is just a player that can't stay on the field? And like, if he does, yeah, he can hit 30 home runs and steal 15, 20 bases, and then he becomes a top 15, top 10 outfielder. But the only thing hurting him is his injury risk. And I can't get past that until he can get past that.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. He is a top of my injury risks tier, and for all those reasons. Because again, if I'm going to assume that he is healthy, he's one of the best players in baseball.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so that is my 29. We cover who's yours?
Yeah, my 29 was Varsho. So
Okay.
who's your 28?
My 28 is Santander, who we covered.
Okay,
Who's your 28?
mine. So my 28 starts my bounce back candidate tier,
Okay.
and this is a guy who didn't make your top 50. You mentioned his name. It is Jesse Winker.
Wow, 28.
Yeah. Look, again, I might
Wow.
have a little high here, but I like the grouping that I have here of these guys.
Okay.
And look, Seattle did not work. It did not work in Seattle for him. But like, who's to say that it's not going to work in Milwaukee? Like, he's been in the NL Central before, and it worked. So like, the only thing is like everybody's we're looking at the 2021 season as like the great season. He only played 110 games that year. So like, I would like to see him do what he did in 2021 over a full season. He's yet to even play in 150 games, like in his career in a single season. So that is a concern. But he's only 29, fresh start, new. I don't know. Maybe it's a catastrophe again, but I'm willing to at least consider the idea.
Okay. No, that's fair. I can't get behind it. And
Yeah,
the reason why I can't is he did what he did in 21 playing in Cincinnati in the best ballpark in MLB. And then he went to a different ballpark in a stacked lineup and couldn't do it. And maybe it was injury and maybe he needs a fresh start. We've said multiple times that we don't like this lineup. And I don't know. I can't really like get behind moving from a worse lineup or moving from a good lineup to a worse lineup and being in a ballpark that's worse than Cincinnati. I don't know
by the
how
way,
Milwaukee and Seattle ballparks play, but
I don't either. But in 2021, his home road splits were pretty like similar.
were
Like,
they? Okay.
yeah, like he had 13 home runs at home, 11 on the road. He had a better batting average on the road. His slugging percentage was higher at home, but that's to be expected because it is that
Yeah.
ballpark. But it was still 534 on the road. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
His
That's good.
388 on base. Like, so he was good on the road in that pinnacle season that we're talking about. So I don't know. Maybe it was just I know he was hurt last year too. Like, it just didn't work in Seattle. Let's
Yeah.
see if it works in Milwaukee.
Yeah. No, I mean that's hey, if he has a bounce back, that's just another great player that we're throwing into this mix of great players. So like I'm
Yeah,
rooting for him.
yeah.
I can't draft him, but I'm rooting for him.
So that was my 28. Who you got at 27?
Okay, my 27 is a guy that I loved going into last year, and he had a down season, but I fully expect a bounce back and like in a real way here. So Tyler O'Neill is my 27.
We did it.
We did it?
We did it. Yep. I have him at 20. I have him at 27.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Tyler
Finally,
O'Neill.
Tyler O'Neill. And you know what? When Joe and I went through starting pitchers, Tristan McKenzie was our only one that we paired, and it was 29. So it's close. It was in this area.
And by the way, Tyler O'Neill wears number 27.
Jason, This is he's gonna hit 27 home runs this year. Just wait.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I love his situation right now. He is hitting behind Tommy Edman. He's hitting in front of Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Contreras. I couldn't be happier. He's 27 years old. I think that like there are big things happening for this kid. I could actually see him moving up, but
The power speed combo, like yes, there's so much to like about him. Yes, he had a down year last year, but like he was hurt too. A full season there in that lineup. He has left field and center field eligibility.
yes.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot not to like about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look at us, 27.
Yeah. Good night, everybody.
If Tyler O'Neill hits 27 home runs this year, I'm gonna buy you 27 shots.
I will give you $27.
You'll give me $27?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna buy you 27 shots? That doesn't seem equal.
All
right.
I think it's fair.
All right. Deal. Who is your 26?
So 26 is the next member of this bounce back candidate tier. And I have Nick Castellanos here.
All right, I have him at 22.
Okay. Again, I don't like him. I don't like the Phillies, so I don't like him. And he had a really bad first year in Philadelphia, but it can't be worse, right? It has to be better than what he did last year.
Yeah.
We know he's a good hitter, especially in that ballpark. So yeah, I mean, even if he's not the 3,400 guy that he was the year before, give me 25 home runs, like and I'd be okay. What are your feelings on Castellanos?
Yeah, I mean that lineup is sick, and even if he is hitting 5th right now, which he's scheduled to hit, like he's gonna have plenty of opportunities to drive in runs with the 4 guys hitting in front of him. I'm not sure how I feel about Derek Hall hitting DH behind him, but I mean, I could see Alec Baum being the number 6 hitter and Bryson Stott moving up, like, and then Harper's going to come back. So
exactly. So, and then Hall becomes irrelevant.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that a bounce back is coming. I think he had high expectations going into Philly, in his first year, and it just kind of flopped, and that's okay. He's got a chance to he's got a chance to build back, and this is the year to do it. And especially with Trey Turner on this team now, like,
I mean, as a Mets fan, I'm rooting for the flop to continue, but I acknowledge that it's not likely.
Yeah. All right.
So then, who is your 25?
My 25 is on a team that I despise, but you know what? He's still a solid player. We're gonna go Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, I have him higher up. Tell me about Brian Reynolds. Yeah, I don't like the team either.
Yeah, I don't like the team, and I like that he's got O'Neal Cruz hitting in front of him. Maybe that's something, but like, what the hell is the rest of this team? And he's proven that he can be an island on this team and hit for solid average and hit for power. And I would love, for his sake, for fantasy sake, to see him get traded so he can thrive in a better lineup. Until then, he's not going to move past 25 for me.
I can understand that. I do have him higher up because the talent is there. He's shown it even on a shitty team. So yes, it'd be great for him to have some protection and to have some run support around him, but he can still provide value just by himself. So, and he's got center field eligibility. I think he's going to play. He's due to play left field this year.
Is due to play left.
Yeah. So, I don't hate Brian Hayes.
Center. He's due to play center.
Oh, he is. Yeah. He is going to stay in center. Well, look, maybe he'll get traded and he'll find left field. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, look, this team is terrible. It is what it is. But I still think he's 28. I like him.
All right. So who's your 25?
My 25, another bounce back candidate. This bounce back candidate is pretty big group. I have Eloy here at 26.
Okay, 18.
Yeah, I'm probably a little too low on him, but we haven't seen him play a full season yet. Like, so I don't know. I'm just wary of him. The injuries have been so paramount.
Yeah, I did
Yeah, so
I did
like,
own him last year, and when he was on the field, he was very good.
oh yeah, he had a 140 OPS plus last year,
Yes.
uh, in 84 games.
Yeah, in 84 games, and he's 26 years old, and like
hmm
over a full season, like it's scary what this guy can do.
Yeah,
So
we haven't
we
seen it
haven't seen
yet.
it. Yeah.
Um, yeah, like his 162 game average, like over the course of his career, is 36 home runs, 108 RBIs, at 276 and 327. Like, yeah, those are like all-star quality numbers.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm a little hesitant.
Okay. No, that's fair. I get it. I get it. All right.
So
That
he was
was
my 25. 24, I had Bryant. Who's your
okay.
24?
My 24 is Jake McCarthy.
Okay.
I don't know why I buy into him, but I love everything about him. And right now he's scheduled to hit third in this on
Yeah.
the lineup. He can he can steal upwards of 25, 30 bases, and he could hit 15 plus home runs. Like I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot to like about him. Again, it's that Diamondback lineup. I
Yeah.
just, look, they have a lot, they have that gluttony of young outfielders, and they helped a little bit by trading Varsho away.
Yeah.
They only brought back Lourdes Gurriel, who's also another outfielder. So I mean, I know he's gonna play, but like, I don't know if he struggles. Like, maybe his playing time wanes a little bit. So so I want to see it in a full season and see what he can do. That's why I had him a little bit lower than that.
Yeah, is he the Frank Schwindel or is he legit?
Right.
That's what
Exactly.
I want to know. And that's like how I feel about Joey Meneses too. Like that's my question. That's my question on a lot of these players.
Oh, he is Frank Schwindel. 100%.
Okay. All right.
Um,
We'll see.
so
All right.
that was your 20,
That was my 24.
2024. Who's your 23?
My 23 we have not spoke about yet. And he is hitting leadoff a very powerful lineup of the New York Mets. That's Brandon Nimmo.
Nice. I do have him higher. But tell me what you like about Nimmo.
Yeah. I really I love everything about him. That I have him higher than McNeil, and that's not a mistake. Like
Yeah.
I like his power potential. His on base percentage is awesome. He'll steal the bases occasionally. He doesn't strike out that much. Like, but he can hit 20 home runs, and I don't see McNeil getting close to that. And so for that reason, I had to sort of give the edge, and his age, I guess he's a year younger. I had to give Nimmo the edge and hitting leadoff. Like I love everything about him.
Yeah. The only thing for me, and he is in my injury risk tier because
Yeah.
he is injury risk. He did play 150 games last year, which was great to see as a Met fan. That, like, seeing him in center field for 150 games was great. But he has been injury prone in the past, so I'm a little weary of him. But yeah, everything you just said he is a special player, and yeah, I would like to see him run more. He does not run as much as he could and should.
Yeah.
Hopefully maybe now with the rule changes in baseball, maybe he runs a little bit more. But that's really the only knock on him.
Yeah, and even if he can get up to 10 stolen bases with the rule changes, like that's not nothing. That's
Yeah,
10 to
yeah,
12, that's something.
absolutely.
All right.
So that was your 23. My 23, we also haven't talked about yet. The guy I owned last year, and this might be a bias thing, but it's Lubob. It's Luis
Uh,
Robert.
I have him at
Yeah.
20. I have him at 20.
Okay.
Not far
Yeah.
off.
Again, like he is like Eloy. To me, they're like the same, almost the same player in the sense that, like, the potential is so great. Just be on the field for 120 games at least. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, um, so, like, again, if we're projecting, we're assuming that everybody's healthy. he's a bounce back candidate for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm still weary of him.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's why he's 20 for me too. Like I can't get him any higher. If he plays a full season, he's a top 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he sits at 20 right now, and prove it. And I guess I have a tiny bit more faith in Eloy because I have him at 18 and Lou Bob at 20. But
yeah, you have them two apart. I have them two apart. Like,
yeah. All right. There you go.
Yeah. So we're kind of in the same realm there.
Yeah. That was your 22, you said?
That was my 23.
That was your 23. All right. We've covered my 22, 21, and 20. So
Okay.
my 22 was Castellanos, my 21 was Stephen Kwan, and my 20 is Luis Robert. So
okay,
go ahead and give me.
Well, my 22 is somebody we have not talked about yet.
Okay.
And he is the top of my bounce back candidate tier. Jazz Chisholm. He doesn't have the outfield eligibility yet, but by all accounts, he's going to have it. So I am putting him in here.
Cheater.
Because,
I see how it is. Okay.
Yeah, he is going to play center field. And all you got to do is start 5 games there to get the eligibility in Yahoo. He's going to start 5 games in center field. So even if they don't go well, he's going to get it. And he's, look, if he's healthy, he's one of the most dynamic players in the game. At least he can be. So he's only 25. The Marlins are terrible, but he's good. The strikeouts are high. There's no doubt about that. But there's power speed combo there.
Yeah.
If he's healthy, I like what I see in him.
Yeah, I just added him. I made him my 22, but I did not even consider him for this list. But yeah, that's a great call. Really great call.
Yep.
All right, where are we at?
So we talked about my 21 and 20. My 21 was Stanton, and my 20 is Harper.
Okay. All right, so we're at both of our 19s now?
Yes.
All right. Jason, who's your 19?
My 19 is my boy Starling Marte.
All right, I have him at 14.
Okay, and these are Stanton, Harper, Marte. These are my injury risks, my injury risk, superstar.
Okay.
Caliber players.
Okay.
And yeah, Starling Marte. Look, he's already banged up as we enter spring training. So that's not great to see. But by all accounts, he's doing okay, and he's prepared to be ready for opening day.
Yeah.
Whatever. He is 34, so that's a red flag. But the power speed is still there. The on base and the average is still there. Doesn't strike out a lot. Yeah, he's still as good of a hitter as you can find, and he's hitting right in the middle of that Mets lineup. So.
Yeah. I mean, that it's just another one of those Lou Bob and Eloy, just stay on the field, because I can't wait to see what you can do in the middle of this Mets lineup if you're on the field.
Yeah. Trust me. Neither can I.
I know.
Who is your 19?
All right, my 19 we have not talked about yet, and I think I may be too high on him because I don't know much about him, to be honest. But he's very highly ranked this year. Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, I realized that I don't have him on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the leadoff hitter for the Diamondbacks, and he's got the power speed combo. He played a little bit last year. We got a small taste of him. I
think that's what kept me off of him, is that he only played in 32 games.
Yeah. We got a very, very small taste, but he's another one of those just really highly touted prospects and drafted in the first round. And he's 22 years old, and he's the leadoff hitter on this team that we are excited about.
Sure.
The power speed is real, and I don't know. I feel like the sky is the limit, but I also can't really back that up with too much evidence. So
yeah, and that's why
number two prospect in baseball.
Yeah, no, the potential is there. He probably should be on my list. I probably could make. I don't think I'd get him this high though.
Okay.
At least McCarthy played in 100 games, so at least that's some sort of sample.
Yeah.
Um, 32 just wasn't enough for me to get him in here, but
I get it.
I mean, he could be a top 20 next year for sure, top 10
Yes.
even.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's like, for me, he's like the Bobby Witt of this year. Like I
Yeah,
last year I was like, I don't care where I have to draft Bobby Witt. I want him on my team. So I reached for him and I got him. And it paid off in a lot of regards.
sure.
Corbin Carroll is a guy that I may reach for this year because I love this potential. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
I can totally agree to that.
Yeah. All right, so that was my 19.
Who is your 18?
Eloy.
Okay, my 18 is another injury risk that I've been a part of in the past. George Springer.
Ooh, all right. I have him at 13.
Okay, yeah, he's so good, but again, it's the Eloy Lubab thing. Like,
No.
be on the field. He played 133 games last year, which was nice. Uh, it wasn't a great. It was a good season. It was a nice season. He needs to play. He's averaged 105 games over the last 2 seasons. He needs to play more.
He
That's
does.
all.
Yeah.
Because that Blue Jays lineup, the Blue Jays roster is so deep that like if it was some kind of injury, they can sit him and they can start with Merrifield or Kevin Biggio or whoever they got, in the reserves. So,
Yeah.
just be on the field. And he is 33, so like
Yeah.
he's trending in the wrong direction, but he still is George Springer.
Yes. Yeah. And he could hit 30 home runs and score 100 runs and knock in 90, even hitting leadoff. And I
Yeah,
like
and he could steal 20 bases.
and
Like,
he could steal 20. Like that's some scary stuff that he offers
yeah,
if he's on the field.
yeah. I just
Um
the injury is just a lot for me to worry about. And
yeah.
I was there. 2021. I drafted him. I knew he was going to be out for the first 4 weeks or whatever it was, and he ended up being out for half the season. So
Yep. Yep.
that sucked.
Yes, it did. All right, so that was your
That was
18?
my 18. My 17 was Nemo.
Okay, my 17, you are very familiar with this guy because you had him last year, and I can't get him higher because of his horrible batting average and strikeouts, but it's Kyle Schwarber.
I do have him at 13. Um, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Everybody, you know what Schwarber is. He's power and he strikeouts.
Yeah, I just can't justify like top 15 for this. I can't with those strikeouts and the batting average. I don't
But you
know.
know what also happened last year? He stole 10 bases.
He did. He did.
Kyle Schwarber hitting leadoff for the Phillies stole 10 bases. Like, I mean, we're not talking Cedric Mullins here, but like for a guy who hit 46 home runs, drove in 94 runs, he also stole 10 bases. Like, and if you project with the new rules, like that could be 15.
It could be. It could be. Um, so my comparison here is, and I know it's way off because of the talent, but Kyle Schwarber and Seth Brown. And the reason why I bring it up is because it's high strikeouts, it's power potential, and it's a lowish batting average. Like there's definitely a gap between those two players, a sizable gap, but
and their team.
and their team, yes, don't get me wrong. But Seth Brown being first left center and right eligible, right? Potential of 30 home runs, potential RBIs there, and probably even a higher batting average than Schwarber. Like, I don't know. I don't know what point I'm trying to make, but I just can't
No,
get fully behind Kyle Schwarber with those numbers.
trust me, I get it. There were points last year where like I was like, do I even start him? Like,
Yeah.
there were times where I didn't start him because I didn't want I couldn't take the strikeouts. And sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't. But yeah, he's a tough guy to own
Yeah.
because if you're gonna own him, you gotta make sure you like nobody else in your lineup strikes out.
Right. And that's the thing that I probably can't avoid.
Yeah.
Like knowing
Yeah.
myself.
No,
All right. So,
I totally get it. Yeah.
so who's your 17?
My 17 was Nimmo, and my
Okay.
16, and Buxton is my 16. Buxton is the top of my injury risk tier
Okay.
for all the reasons you said earlier. He's an injury waiting to happen, but man, when he's on the field, like
Yeah.
he's just so good.
Yep. Yeah. My 16 was Adalis Garcia, so we already talked about him.
Okay. Who is your 15?
All right, we have not talked about him yet. I'm not sure you and I think you and I feel exactly the same about him in that we don't trust him because we don't like drafting hitters from this lineup, but he deserves some praise and he deserves some respect, and that's Randy Arozarena at 15.
We feel exactly the same way about him because I also have him ranked 15. That's
All right.
twice.
Arozarena and Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah. Yeah, those are our guys.
Oh, I'm happy we got 15 we got 2 out of 75. I'm so happy about that.
We still got more to go. We'll see
Yeah, we
what
could get
happens.
more. We could get more. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so I mean, I think we know what there is to know about a Rosarena. Like he's a power speed threat, but he also does strike out a lot, and we
He
don't
does.
love the Tampa Bay lineup. So what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
can't move him higher.
he's a model of consistency, but like he's a model of decent consistency, good consistency. Like
Yeah.
So 15. He's not a superstar. He is the start of the tier that I'm calling the next wave of stars.
Okay.
Like my first tier is superstars. This is my second tier, which is the next wave of stars, and he is the bottom of that tier. Like
Okay. Fair.
I don't think we're not disrespecting him, but
No.
we're not in love with him.
Yeah, I like the 14 guys above him just more.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
All right, who's your
So
14?
my 14 is Brian Reynolds.
Mine's Starling Marte. So we talked
Okay.
about that.
Who is your 13?
Springer.
Schwarber.
Okay. Do we have the same top 12?
Let's see.
I think we do.
Okay. Who is your 12?
My 12 is Teoscar Hernandez.
My 12 is Teoscar Hernandez. All right. What do you like about Teoscar?
I just knew it. I just knew it.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of we have like obviously we're on the same 12 people. It's just gonna be fun to see what order we have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Teoscar at 12. You like the move to Seattle?
I do. I know it didn't work for Jesse Winker, but I don't see why it couldn't work for Teoscar. Again, you know what you're gonna get from him. He's power.
He could steal the bases.
Strikes out a lot, but like he's as clutch as they come. So
yes, agreed. All right, who's your 11?
Cedric.
Yeah. This is amazing. All right, Cedric Mullins.
We're on the same top 12. I love it. Cedric, again, like we know what you're getting from him. He took a step back last year from the year before, which
we were expecting that.
Yeah. So I just hope that he doesn't take another step back. But even if he gives you his 2022 numbers, you're okay with that. Like you're okay with 16 home runs and 34 stolen bases. Like
all day.
Yeah. Hitting on top of that Orioles lineup, he's gonna score 90 runs like easily.
Yeah.
So
at least.
Yeah. So yeah, all good on Cedric.
All right.
Top 10.
All right. You want to say your 10 on 3? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Michael
Tatis. Oh, I have Harris 9.
Tatis is 9. Okay.
Maybe we just undo it and just let's just call it even.
We edit. Yeah, let's edit it. No.
Yeah.
All right. So Harris and Tatis are 9 and 10. For me, Tatis is like a true 40-40, like the only 40-40 threat besides Acuna that exists like in baseball.
Yeah.
So he had to be 9 for me just for that. Like, but Michael Harris is like, I just haven't seen enough yet, I think, for me to like edge him over Tatis. But like,
yeah, I really wanted to put Michael Harris with my Prove It group, but I couldn't put him down that far, and I couldn't put the other guys up that high. So he's kind of like by himself in a sense. Because you're right. One season, like he won Rookie of the Year, but we've seen Rookies of the Year just tank the next year. So, and I don't like the Braves, so I'm probably not drafting him anyway.
Here's the thing that scares me is that he's right now penciled in to hit 6th.
Yeah.
And like that's different. That's different than what he did last year. And like I was looking forward to a full season of him at leadoff, and I feel like that would have been like a little bit better, but you can't take that from Acuna. So.
Yeah. I mean, so his RBI total is gonna skyrocket. Because he's gonna have all those guys on base in front of him. Yeah, look, but who knows? Like he could
Splitting hairs.
Yeah, it really is. And Tatis, like I wanted to get him higher, but like he didn't play at all last year, so
Exactly.
I couldn't justify it. Even though I know he's an incredible talent, and when he's gonna play, he's gonna be incredible. He's got shortstop eligibility. I just couldn't justify it without seeing him for a whole year.
Yeah, agreed. And he is gonna miss the first 20 games of the season. So
yeah, which honestly, that I'd be fine with. It's not an injury. He's suspended, so like,
right.
I would stash him easily, but
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to number 8.
All right. Our top 8's gonna be identical? That is the question.
It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be tight. All right, who's yours?
Mike Trout.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Okay. No, our top 8 is not gonna be the same.
Okay. All right. The 7 that are above him are first rounders in the bigs. I don't know that Mike Trout will be a first rounder. He very well could be, but I don't know for sure. I know for sure that the top 7 are first rounders.
He hit 40 home runs last year in 119 games.
He did. Like he was on my team.
It's disgusting.
I
think I really do think he's gonna be well. It's tough because I think if he's not a first rounder, it's not a knock on him. It's that the quality of stars that are in the league is just incredible right now.
Yes, that's the only reason he's 8 for me. The only reason. But where do you have him?
I have him at 2.
At 2.
He is still Mike Trout. Until he proves that he is not Mike Trout, he is still Mike Trout.
Oh my God, you have him at 2. Okay, all right.
Yeah. 28 doubles, 40 home runs, 80 RBIs in 119 games. That doesn't happen. Unless you're Mike Trout.
But also like 160 games of Mike Trout doesn't happen either.
But again, like I'm going on the assumption that it does, that it will. He's still only 31. Like I knew he's had injuries, but like we're talking about a guy who's only 31. He's not 36. Like
it's true.
There's no reason to expect that he won't be healthy for a full season. And he's hitting with Ohtani and Rendon and Renfroe. Like, yeah, give me Mike Trout.
If he stole 10 to 12 bases in a season, I think he would easily be in my top 5 outfielders, but he doesn't run, and for me that's the outlier here in this top group.
It's true. He hasn't run in quite a couple of years. He had 11 in 2019. He hasn't had double digits since. New rules. Who knows? But
yeah, who knows?
I can't ignore Mike Trout.
Okay. I don't think ranking him 8th is necessarily ignoring him. Do you think it's
no? You're absolutely right.
I mean, but I don't know. Well, we'll see what the year brings. I owned him last year, so maybe I'm a little bit biased. I felt like he went on a streak where he hit a home run in 10 straight games, and that's what like sort of like pushed his total to where it was. But other than that, like big streak where he hit like 13 or 14 home runs in 10 days, like it felt like he just kind of lagged a bit throughout. But
I hear you. The red flags are there for sure, but
yeah.
The upside potential is just too much to dismiss.
Okay. All right. So who's your 7?
My 8. is J-Rod.
Oh, okay. All right. We are definitely different.
Yeah, because again, he look, and I have him right above Michael Harris. Because again, the talent is there. They are superstar level. We've seen one season, so like, is he Griffey or is he is he gonna fizzle? I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he's gonna he's one and done. I just want to see it over another full season. I want to make sure that this is a real guy. The Mariners do, and look again, like you said, he's at 8 for me. So I'm not out on him.
Yeah.
I just trust the established veterans that I have above him more.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Where do you have him?
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see it. Look,
Yeah.
he could be number 1 next year. Like there's no question.
Yeah. All right. So who is your 7 then?
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
I knew it.
We had to hit on one of these top 8. We had to.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be one more. We'll see.
Maybe.
But yeah, I feel like Kyle Tucker is kind of like he's the quietest of this group, right? I mean, he plays on the world champion Astros, but like I still feel like he kind of flies under the radar compared to some of these other names that we haven't talked about yet. But
I mean, he hits 6th in this lineup, and until you move him up, like I don't see his numbers necessarily like increasing. I see them staying where they're at, and don't get me wrong, they're awesome. His numbers are great. But I think he'd have even more opportunities to score runs. Like he only scored 71 runs last year, and
right. But
he
drove in 107.
Yeah, he drove in 107. That's what hitting 6th can do for you. But you're not going to be driven in by Chas McCormick and Martin Maldonado.
Yeah. I mean, but he doesn't strike out. He takes his walks.
Correct.
Right. So I mean, there's everything to love about him, except for where he's hitting in that incredible lineup.
Yep. Agreed. And you know what? I could see him moving to 2nd. Like put Brantley at 6th. I have nothing wrong with that. That's you got left-handed hitters in both spots. Switch them.
Put Brantley on the injured list, and that solves everything.
And then I think Jeremy Pena hits 2nd, and you keep Kyle Tucker at 6th for whatever reason. All right. So that is our 7 collectively.
Who is your 6?
Jordan.
Oh, okay. I have him higher.
Okay. Jordan is my 6th. I love everything about him. Obviously, he does not run at all, which is why he is not in my top 5. But everything else, he's the love of my life.
Aw.
I know.
Yeah, that's sweet.
I can't say anything bad about him. I can't, other than he doesn't run.
Yeah, I can feel that. I feel like what he provides is so yummy that like I'll get my steals elsewhere.
Okay.
And I have him up at 3. He has his OPS,
right.
his OPS plus over the last 2 seasons is 162. Like that's just outrageous. Like only Trout and Judge are higher over the last 2 seasons. Like he is crazy. And he is hitting in the middle of that Astros lineup. As long as he's healthy, I think that's probably the only like concern is he has got the injury bug, but
yeah,
26, like the sky's the limit for this kid.
Yeah. I mean the knees scare me a little bit, and then he's had this hand issue last year, and now it's sort of carried over into spring training here. He's not swinging the bat right now, so
that is a worry. Yeah, that is a worry. And look, if I see in spring training that he's not getting any better, I probably do knock him down.
Yeah.
But right now, I just can't. He's so tantalizing.
He is tantalizing. That's why he's the love of my life. All right, so that is my 6. Who's your 6?
I have Ronald Acuna Jr. at 6.
Oh man. Oh.
It's probably a bias because I hate the Braves, so I hate Ronald Acuna.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, everything you're about to say about him is true.
Then I don't even need to say it.
Yeah, and now he's gonna be a year removed, a full year back from the knee injury. So I get it. He is a superstar. He is 40-40. He also plays in Atlanta. So fuck him. Sorry, Frank.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. I think he's in for a huge bounce back, and I think he could give you 30-30 this year, and I wouldn't be shocked if he gave you close to 40-40.
Yeah, it's certainly possible. And look, he's still only 25. Like he's been around forever. He's still only 25. Like, yeah, I totally understand. I totally get it. This is a bias thing.
Okay. All right. So that was your 6, right?
Yeah.
My 5 was Julio.
My 5 is Mookie Betts.
Okay.
I love everything about him. He's the only one in this group, other than Tatis, I guess, that has an infield position eligible. And I mean, the Dodgers lineup, 40 doubles. Like, what? Yeah, I love everything about him. I love everything about him.
Yeah, I have him higher than 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the only knock on him is like he's 30. So, and maybe he runs more, maybe he steals 15, 20 bags, but yeah, he's a superstar. That's all there is.
He is, and his walk totals were actually down last year, but I could see them creeping back up. I think the only reason they were down is because who was hitting behind him.
Yeah.
So,
and like now there's no Trey Turner, so like maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's got to pick up the stolen base lag that
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look again. I have him at 5. Like I don't think I'm disrespecting him at all.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either. Do we have the same number 4?
It sounds like it.
Who is it?
Not 2, but Juan
Soto.
Juan Soto. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Give me your bit on Juan Soto.
I'm all for the bounce back this year. And you know what? Like, as down of a year as he had last year, like it still was good. It still was really impressive what he did when he didn't have it, So when he finds it again and he can hit those 30 bombs and steal 10 bases and get on base at an insane clip and walk more than he strikes out, like, what's not to love?
Yeah. I mean, 400 on base percentage. And you know what? Like, it was still 388 with the Padres. So, like, it's not like he was a different player. Yeah, he didn't hit as well, but, like, he's going to pick that up. It's Juan Soto. He is only 24. In the middle of that ridiculous lineup, yeah, there's no reason to think that he's not going to have a huge year.
Yeah. He walked 135 times last year and struck out 96. Like, that's insane.
It's ridiculous. And things like that, like, that doesn't really go away. That doesn't really, like, especially for a 24-year-old. Like, that's going to be him for another, 5, 6, 7 years.
Yes. Agreed. So definitely we agree on number 4. My number 3 was Mookie Betts. Who was your 3?
Yordan Alvarez.
Okay. And your 2,
my 2 was Trout.
My 2 was Acuna.
So we had the same number 1.
Who's your number 1, Jason? Give him all the respect that you can.
It is Lorenzo Cain. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, it is Aaron Judge. Yeah, I hate the guy, but no, I don't hate him. But like, if there's ever a player that I would draft on a rival team, he is the guy that I would take. He is as good as it gets.
And he's not going to hit 62 home runs, but if he hits 40, that's 22 home runs less, and that's still probably the most out of anyone on this list.
Yeah. His OPS plus last year was 211.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Gross.
And he stole 16 bases.
and he hit 311 with a 686 on base percentage. Like,
Wait, 686.
I made that up, but that's what it feels like anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And he scored 133 runs. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And look, and this isn't the first year we've seen it from him. I think he's past the injury problems that he's had in the past. He played 157 games last year. Like, he is the guy. And until he's not, he is the guy.
He's the guy. He is. He is. And he is our consensus number one. Wow, Jason, we got through it. And
What a list.
how many did we match?
So it was O'Neill, Arozarena, Teoscar, Kyle Tuck. Did we both have Tucker at 7?
Yeah.
Soto and Judge.
So we matched 6 out of 50.
Out of 50.
I like
Hey,
that.
That's not too bad.
Not
That's
too bad at all. All right, man. This was awesome. A lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you for coming on with me and doing this with me. This was fun.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for putting this list together and participating in some healthy debate. And yeah, I can't wait to see what actually shakes up here. And I can't wait to see you draft Lorenzo Cain first overall in our league. So
You know it. You know what's gonna happen.
yeah. No, so thanks so much. And yeah, look forward to the next show.
Yeah. Until then, it's been real.
It's been fun.
Hey, it's always real fun in the bigs.
Yes, it is.
See you next time, guys.
See you next time.